besides that 25 retest, because I mean this range here was pretty crappy in the morning, right? I mean they gave us, I think it was 13 points if I'm not mistaken. Let me go here. So they gave us, I mean the opening was pretty tight. I mean 32 and 47, so about 13 points they gave us, and then they broke lower, but really stayed in the range. I mean this is not much. And then you look at the daily, and you know, right now the way we are opening, if you're not going to make a higher high tomorrow and not clear that 50 level I just mentioned, you know, I think there's a, you know, there's a chance we pull back a little bit. So with that being said, let's just kind of look at the profiles and see what kind of story are they giving us. Okay, so the only other thing that I would check here is, this is, which day was Thursday? This is the 24th. Okay. So this is the only Thursday. This is the basically the single prints, and they almost finished cleaning up all the way to 45.50. You guys see this? And when I say single print, does everybody know what that means? Is there anyone that doesn't?
Could you go over it again really quick, please?
Yeah, so each one of these periods, like you see A, that means the first 30 minutes. The B shows you the second 30 minutes of the day. So, you know, every letter carries 30 minutes, and then it tells you where the price went for that alphabet period. Right. So if you look at A's, it went, you know, as low as here, and they didn't go lower. And then you look at the B's never went below the A's in this case, right? And then you go on, right? And then you see these single letters here. You see these single letters that came in. That means it's a really initiative seller, or on a bottom, and it's a bottom tail like you see here. That means it's really initiative buying, and other time frame buyers step in on single prints. And same is true when it's an opposite, right? And usually you want to see a little bit more than one, right? Here. So usually you want to see, but this, you know, would signify a strong high here as well. So. But single prints means just single letter and action happens. Like you see here, initiative selling took off and not many buyers showed up, right? And then more initiative selling, and then you see some periods overlapping here, and we're kind of coming, and then here, and more initiative selling, and then some buying happened. So if you really want to take out, you know, if you want to go lower, you have to take out these initiative buyers that were here. And I would say this level right here would be, from TPO standpoint, this would be something that you're watching right here. You want to take these guys out. And, you know, it's nothing really new. It's, you want to take out these lows, but you got to show power that you can remove them. And it takes a lot of initiative selling to get out if there's initiative buying followed. That's all it means. Just other time frame buyers stepped in and pushed the price in a different direction aggressively. Okay. On 30 minutes on the footprint charts. So I just want to show you guys, we had the buy side imbalance at 24, and you guys remember this level when I was trading live, I pointed it out a few times. At 23, I said this would be the area for potential bounce, and I think you guys see where we came. We had a failed auction, then a completed auction, another failed auction on the bottom here on 30 minutes. This one completed, some fight here happened, right? I would not be shocked if we come back and revisit this 31 tomorrow or tonight quickly. So if we lose this level from footprints perspective, 440, if it's lost, there's a high chance you go 35 and 31, right? But as of right now, since it was a sideways day, you don't expect seeing balances on sideways. When do you expect to see it?
Trend day?
Yeah, it needs to be a trend day.
Trend
Like you
day.
see this candle sell off, there's an imbalance, and they dumped even more. Usually happens on, you know, imbalance days. And if you look here, there was a, all these letters that are highlighted here mean that there was a 3-to-1 ratio or higher, whether it's 6-to-1. You know, you see here, it almost looks like a stop loss hunt. But you see, for instance, here, 248 paired with 17, 375 with 99. And then you see a high volume node here, right? So if I was to switch this for a second, you guys would be able to see. I'll just change this here. Let's just put volume so you guys can see where the volume is, right, for each candle. And if you look here, there's a lot of volume here. So as long as they're defending this 31 level, they're okay. And then you see here, what happens here at this level? Does anyone see this?
Is that a double imbalance?
Right here, this is a double POC, meaning at the bottom here, they absorbed, right? So the volume was negative 76, the volume was 50 with negative 438 delta. So basically all these aggressive sellers, we didn't make a new lower low on this candle compared to this one. And it's telling you that the selling's been absorbed, right? I don't know what the min and max were at this moment, right? But I can assume that it was, higher than negative 438. If you go back, I don't know if there's a replay feature or not. But this level here is going to be huge in terms of reaction. And again, what level is that? It's the 25 level. We've been at this level for some time now, and it's really, really important level for the market to defend. If the bears want to, go higher, they should not be breaking this 25 this week. If they lose 25, then most likely they're going to hit 68 and 70. So, okay. All right.
Shorty, can you tell a little bit more about that right side delta bars, the green and red bars, and how do you use them?
Yeah, so I use them basically as liquidity gaps. If I look at it, if I know that there's an aggressive seller here, for instance, right? And let's say we go below it, and then we fail to make higher high or peak above it, then I know the sellers are becoming more aggressive, especially if I see when I use the imbalance, right? I typically stay on imbalance, and if I see that there's a sell side imbalance, like you see here, they're not done here. When I look at 30 minutes, I see aggressive sellers and I see unfinished business here, right? This is an unfinished auction. Once we clear this level, which might happen while we're on a call here, once they clear this, most likely they're going to come back and visit that 25 level here on the bottom. And I think it'll happen during this call. I use these to look at where are the extremes. And look now, let me just show you. I'll change this for a moment just to, let's do 120 minutes. And now you're able to see a little bit more. Look where the levels for buying are. You see the 22. And then you see at this level 44.10, we can expect to see buyers come in and defend these positions. Because look at the number of delta contracts here that are positive. Remember, one contract to be green on delta, it has to be higher on ask bidding, higher on ask than it is on bid. So 4,500 contracts here, positive delta. That's pretty big. Right, and
Makes
you
sense.
see this one right below. This is fairly aggressive, 4,600, right? And you can mess around with this a little bit if you want to increase the tick size, right? Just so you can kind of, what the tick does is basically it finds the same orders at that level and combines them instead of having a bunch of lines, right? So if you look here, look what's happening. Anyone see it? I mean, that didn't take long. And anyone can summarize this. You shouldn't spend an hour looking at it to figure it out. What's happening here?
Consolidation.
Anyone else? Pay attention when we reach the tops.
Responsive selling.
Oh, it's very aggressive selling. It's very, very aggressive selling that's happening here. Look at this. And you see this one, the last one. And then tell me the delta. You see here on this one, delta is negative 363. I know it's after hours, right? But the max was negative 388. And, we still have a little bit of time here. On this candle in 2 hours, we have 34 minutes left, and they're already over the contracts. And delta, compared to normal after hours, you see it's a little bit, heavier here. So I wouldn't be shocked once we lose this level here. I would probably short it below, 440 if they give us a nice imbalance, right? If you see aggressive sellers to break it, because you need that. You need initiative selling to break resistance and support. If they give us that, I guarantee you, if I was to draw an FVP here, where's the POC?
Top.
Top.
If it's not on top, something's off, right? So something would be really weird if it wasn't up there. And look at this. I mean, it doesn't take long to figure out, there's a little bit of selling. Every time we came to the top, they're selling pretty aggressively here. Let me just remove the drawings here. All right, so that's, something I use this, right? And today, when I was watching for that 25 level, I was aware of this 23 level, and I believe I mentioned it when I was trading live. It's gonna be between 23 and 25 that they bounce. And what did they do? They bounced like at 23 and a quarter or half. They came low, and you see completed auction came back. And all of these auctions, I mean, I know it's 2 hours, odd time frame, but let's look at the daily for a moment. What's wrong with this picture? I'm on daily time frame. What do you see here?
Volume decreased while going up.
Volume drastically decreased. I mean, 700K contracts variance is, I would say, pretty big, right? And then what else?
Delta extremely positive.
Okay, is it really extremely positive? Let's take a look.
A big change from the previous day.
There's a change from previous day, but look at the average delta across. Right. I don't know. I don't think it's aggressive buying at all, right? So, and I'll show you something here. So, do this. Let's do delta. Here's your daily delta right now. I'm showing these bars just on a daily chart. What's happening at the top? They're buying here. What's happening as we're going up?
They're selling on the way up.
Yeah, they're selling aggressively here, and they, a lot of the action happened below the POC here. I don't know, right? So until they can reclaim this, I wouldn't, consider like 447 reclaim. For me, 450 has to be taken care of before I would consider going long. But look at the delta right here at this level at 452 from, what is this, 823, I believe, Thursday. There's a seller sitting here, I'm telling you. 452 is going to be tough. And then the daily is not really, to me, this is not a convincing push up, right? And it's a P shape, especially if you go below this POC and then the value area. Forget about it. It's not going to go far. So let's look at this. And now you'll see the volume, and here's your volume of contracts, and a lot of it happened here. So now if we dip below it, what does it tell you? From volume standpoint, this is just like a volume profile, guys, literally. So what does it tell you if you dip below a P shape? Either you're going to bounce at the high volume node of that P shape, but most likely it was a short cover rally, right? So I would definitely, kind of pay attention to this 450 level tomorrow. And I know, has anyone checked 30 minutes lately on this? Let's go here and balance. I'm just gonna change my cluster tick. Does anyone see anything? Where's the concentration of sellers? You shouldn't spend too much time here. So somebody asked, how do I use it? What happened here?
Selling.
Massive selling here. So you have, if you break this area, most likely you're going to target this guy 85. And then if you're able to reach 93, I would short the hell out of it. And I was short with swings too. Because that would be a really, really good imbalance. And my imbalance is stuck on 3, right? So if you guys low, it'll be 3-1, 6-1, 9-1. So that means here, they're going to be heavy sellers. And look at the delta. Right here, it's going to be big resistance at 45.06. We have single prints at 45.01, somewhere around here. So this is going to be a big, big level. And I would love for them to push. I mean, I'll play along, on some retests, but if they give us the push, that'd be great. And I believe on 2, there's a imbalance at 60. I had it today. Oh, it's right here. You guys see this imbalance right here? So when you zoom in, you should be able to see something. Is this real or not? Meaning, is it a stop run or is it really an imbalance?
Imbalance.
It's a true imbalance, right? And how do you know?
It's in the middle of the candle, and as well as on the other side there are no zeros. So
Exactly. They're still trying to buy this, but the problem is the sellers are, this guy's like, hey, I'm willing to buy 60 apples. And this guy's like, here you go, man. You have 248 apples. And this guy's like, okay, I'll buy 57. This guy's like, nope, you can have 176. So imagine the oversupply that they're giving at these levels when they're trading. Remember, it's diagonal, it's not horizontal. So they're really, really aggressively selling here. And then you guys should just know from volume profile, at least, for the people that have been in the Discord for some time, where's the level? If I was to give you this, where's the level for shorting? Where's your level for shorting right here?
accumulation of the top.
It's right here. I mean, you had a really, really strong accumulation at this point, guys. Each one of these candles is 30 minutes. You have this, I would say huge thing here, but these 3 30-minute candles at the end, you can just grab FVP on these bad boys and see what happens, right? So if you grab this and see what happens, they'll spit out like a little POC, and then you just mark that on your chart, and then you'll watch what happens to delta as we arrive there. So this level at 464, and our imbalance is at 460. They typically, when they have imbalances, what do they do? And I think I've beat this to death before. What do they do on imbalances? They don't stop here. They go a little bit higher, and then they dump. And you can check on every imbalance, that we had. We had an imbalance today on the buy side, right, at 25, and you'll see the same thing they did today on the imbalance. I guess it's on 1 for me. But they did the same exact trick. They dipped 23, but I was expecting them to do that because there's a huge delta pull towards lower end. They pulled it and then they went higher, right?
They do that on 5 minutes too.
And honestly, if I was you guys, I would try to avoid 5 minutes imbalances unless you're really, really scalping, like
Okay.
in and out. I would
Mhm.
avoid it, but for people that are trying to get a hand of, hold of the footprints, use 30 minutes. I'm telling you, just
Okay.
go with 30 minutes and stay away from NQ if you're fairly fresh to futures. They can really spin your head a little bit. And you guys notice that I'm back on ES, and that's because a lot of you guys want to compare yourself to a lot of others. And I figured if I trade ES, a lot of you guys might consider trading ES. And I don't care if it's working or not. I'm just going to continue doing ES. And I shared with you guys with MES, you can make money. With MNQ, you can make money. As long as you stick to your plan, you can make money. And a lot of you guys sometimes get caught in FOMO and you want to trade like others, and then it becomes a problem. Right? So hopefully it's helping some of you. See it that you can really grow your account tiny little bit by little bit. Okay, and just pay attention to this seller right here. Has many failed auctions occurred above that haven't been resolved? So if you look here, they had a failed here, right? They failed an auction at 450, and then look here. That lately they're completing these auctions quickly here. I know it's after hours, but they're completing these. We lose this level here, it's gonna be a quick flush, and you guys might not catch it unless you're trading tonight.
How can you tell it's a failed auction again?
So when you have a failed auction, right, is that you have 2 numbers that are not a 0 on the bottom or the top. You need a 0 on one side. Like if it's on the bottom, it needs to be on the ask side. If it's on the top, it needs to be on the bid side. Like let's say this one here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
So, and also you can highlight, like if I highlight them, you see now every green here that you see is an unfinished auction. I just spot them out. I just hate the coloring that adds too much shit. We'll leave it on for now. Okay. All right, so on the daily, I mean, when you think about it, we're just in balance, guys. We're on the daily, you're straight balance here. And look, are we able to break this value area high? No. If you think about it, this is the same setup that we had on the monthly. Do you guys remember when I said July POCs is the most important POC at like maybe 3-4 weeks back? I said, if we lose it, we're gonna dump. This is setting up from day to day perspective. You know, what happened on value areas? You shifted higher, right? The POC shifted, but what happened to volume? Did anyone check?
Died.
But what does the rule say when you're shifting value areas?
Anomaly.
You need to shift with volume. Otherwise, that what happens tomorrow, that needs to be confirmed. So tomorrow, I mean, obviously you're below the POC here, right? So if they lose this, it's a really quick guarantee that they're going to go back to at least 44.30, which if you go back to the footprint charts, did I say 35 and 30 is the next levels? As soon as you break this 40 level that I mentioned off of Delta, it's gonna, so to me, that creates a confluence in my head and I trust it, if that makes sense, right? I give it a little bit more weight because now, you know, multiple views are telling me that there's a gap fill immediately once you hit that, right? So tomorrow, if I see that they're, you know, building weakness here and I pay attention to the Delta footprints, which seem to be selling right now and absorbing the buyers, well, then, I mean, take a quick short. High chance we can be done really quickly tomorrow if they play the cards right. Okay, so we'll do PD value area low. We'll just shift this bad boy here. And look what they're doing here. What's telling you here? What is there a problem here?
They're now holding previous day value area high.
I mean, they're unable to even crack it. Every time they cracked it, what happened?
Reject.
Yeah, basically they sold off because there's no what?
Nobody interested in buying up there.
No new net buyers that think there's value above. So naturally, you're just gonna go down. Remember, they work based on values, and if they don't find value at the top, where do they have to go?
The opposite.
Got the
The
bottom.
opposite extreme. They're gonna visit the bottom. Actually, I might be ready to short this soon here before I get off the call. Wow. I just missed one keyboard letter and I wrote something random. Okay. So we're back in a daily balance. So let's see how we did on the weekly, if we did any damage. So weekly, we're in balance as well. You see that that's pretty much obviously a weekly high. The value area high of prior week, that's where we took the trades off today. And I don't know if you guys recall, but I warned you guys to not do price discovery with them by yourself. Said let them go higher and buy here. And I mean, I don't think it got better than that today, honestly, executed to a T. So tomorrow, if they lose this POC, I would say, you know, especially here, 38, if you're really risk averse, wait for this instead of the 41. Because that 38, I think it clears on the Delta as well, if I remember right here. So this is the level that I would want to take it below, but you see that there's a cluster of volume here, right? There's a, you know, positive 21, negative 2000, and then positive 2300. And look what level is this? About 38, right? So then, you know, there's a higher chance for your trade to work. If you take 38, look where it's going. 30. And what would be our target? Anyone?
Previous day value area low.
Previous day value area high, low, and that would be 30. So everything matches. So it's an extra confluence in my head. Hey, it's working, footprints, Delta, everything's aligned. You lose this level, which is your high volume node here. You see a kind of weird profile. on a weekly. If you lose that, we're gonna dump probably 8-10 points or even more, right? It just depends. I don't even know if there's anything happening tomorrow. So price. We have a JOLTS report. And this week, ADP. Oh, there's PCE. Estimates. And then GDP. I don't see any speakers. I was looking to see if they. There's core PC on August 31st. That would be a Thursday. Man, last day of the month. Okay. Well, we'll have some fireworks Thursday. Okay. And then another thing that you could do for another confluence, anyone have an idea? I'll probably look at these fibs a little bit if I was you guys, from this top to the bottom, and see where we are right now.
Yeah, that's what I did. I fibbed it from the top to the bottom. And then from the bottom to the top just to get on both sides.
And 618 is at 39. And look where we bounced right
Yeah.
now.
We were operating in the golden pocket today.
I'm just setting up a short here. Yeah, I mean, even on my DOM like screen.
Every
Right
time
now.
it hit the golden pocket, it shot up.
On my DOM, look what it's showing me here. Anyone see it? So this one is volume, and this one is delta right here. The buying occurs, you see where buying is? The buying is happening here. What happens with volume as you're buying?
Decreasing.
This is the value area high, and this is the value area low of this session right now. So now I know as soon as you come to the top, right, the auction goes sideways, the auction weakens. If the auction is not picking up steam, then I would expect what to pick up at the top? If buyers are not picking up, what do you expect?
The sellers.
Once you lose, you see here, once you lose this POC, there's a big boy seller here for this time frame, right, that we're in right now at 9:44. And then you see that they can do a little trap right here because somebody might play the momentum and they could bounce from here. But, you know, here is where a lot of sellers are. As long as they find value and sellers are interested in selling below, they go lower. And for me, it's the 30, 38, 39 level that I'll watch. We should not see them break 53 tonight. At least I don't think they will. Okay. Okay. On Saturday, we're gonna do the stock scan list. So I finally figured out all the access that me and Dumpster did together. So I'll be updating directly to it during the call. But we're gonna run the scan list, guys. If you're new to the run, you know, to the stocks, I basically share the most interested stocks that I'm in for buying. You know, usually when I buy stocks, it's more holding period than, you know, a day. I usually swing the shares. Some shares are meant to be, and I usually tell you guys, you know, if I'm buying Pfizer, I was buying it for a long-term hold. We bought, I don't know if anyone purchased Newell brands, right? But you know, we are looking at this one. If you guys recall, this was about $8 when we were interested in buying this, right? So it was here somewhere about 8-10ish that, you know, some of us got filled. So it has good returns, you know, and this is not an advice to you guys to buy. I just show you guys what I'm buying, and if you guys are interested, then all for it. And some of you guys should remember this chart. I'm not gonna call your name, but you guys should remember this. This is from one of the one-on-ones that I had. Basically, we revisited all of the market auction theory on chart. Okay, any questions? And yes. So to summarize, let me just give you guys an idea. Right, if you're holding PD value area high, and let's say dependent where we open, right, we have a couple of scenarios. If we open above the range high of today and above, obviously, value area, that's going to be a bullish case. We got to break that 44.50, right? For me, the 53 has to be gone for me to be interested in long, right? And then it comes up to that 62 level. We had 60 to 62 and 3-ish. There is a POC if you guys go back on the higher time frame at that level, right? I do expect to see some, something come out of this right here. Because if you consolidated here and look where this is falling now, again, at 53. Let me just shorten this bad boy here. So this would be, what is this? I'm sorry, I can't see anymore. You're looking at about 68.5. And that becomes an important level. Does anyone recall what from last week? I'll show you if you guys don't. You guys recall this level much? Remember the double, triple distribution week where we had previous week value area high, we failed, popped, failed. So now if we're able to crack it this time, this becomes a really, really nightmare zone for you guys to trade. If you don't believe me, just watch and learn. This is going to happen quick, but they're going to kill your contracts in this zone. And ultimately, for you to turn bullish, what needs to happen? Anyone?
Clear 45.02.
That's correct, right? But ultimately, if you're able to break this high here and get above on August POC, right? Because we're towards the month end. If you're able to reclaim this 44.87, maybe I'll get interested in some swing longs, right? And I'm not saying heavy. I'm not a big, swing heavy position, especially lately with zero SPX kind of throwing stuff off. But I would definitely watch this level here because right now, if you extend this level, look what happens. What does it look like? Resistance, resistance, support. And now it's resistance. Now, if we break it, we're looking for long and we'll be able to catch it all the way from here. Probably this value area high of the August, right? We have a couple of days to see, are we going to stay in balance on the monthly? Because right now we are, right? We're inside and the value area low is, where is this? It is at 44.20. So this level, they're going to do everything they can to stay in balance. And why is that? Why do you guys think we want to stay in balance on monthly?
Well, if they don't, they're gonna have to find a new value.
They're going to be searching for something else. And obviously, right, if they fail this August value area low, most likely 43.50 comes in play again. Because if you look at June POC, I mean, it's a perfect distribution. So the highs and lows are going to play nicely. And, they already executed the lows. They came in very close to the June value area high here, a few points short. But if they're able to run that again, I think this is a good swing short entry because here, just think of the confluence. You have July value area low, and then you have June value area high, and then you would have, if they're able to do some magic here, where do you guys think the POC could go? If they do a lot of volume here, if they break this level, you would expect it to come with what? With volume. You want the volume to come in here if you're going to break a major level like August POC. So if they're able, and if you look at these volume nodes, I'll just put a vertical line. Is it this one or this one? They're very close, right? I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell probably between here. If I change time frame, it might even shift up. Does that make sense? So if they're able to shift the POC and line it up perfectly with that high volume node, man, it could get really, really interesting here at the top. Like it could get really, really nasty here. So let's see what they do. I mean, if they push it here, that'd be ideal. If they can push it, clean up the 45.02 single prints, come here, fail again, man, that would be potentially a good short. Okay. But right now we're in the balance on the monthly. So just keep that in mind as you're trading tomorrow. All right. Any other questions from anyone? on the chart? Are you clear or? All right, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and you guys have a good night.
Good night,
Alright,
Shorty.
thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shorty.
Bye.
Thank you.